Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my new episode. Today, I'm taking you on an ultra-luxury experience through Panama Canal. Spend the day with me and learn about the state-of-the-art technology behind the locks of Panama Canal. Also, learn about the history and who in fact built the Panama Canal. And do all of that while enjoying the ultimate luxury experience. I will take you around the ship in today's crossing by taking you with me for breakfast, lunch, the spa, and to a glamorous afternoon tea event. And make sure to stay till the end to capture few words of wisdom from Captain Emilian himself, who graciously took us through Panama Canal. Going through Panama Canal is an all-day event. We'll start by going under the Atlantic Bridge, then we'll go into the first set of locks, the Gatun locks, and sail into the Gatun Lake. Then we'll proceed to Pedro Miguel locks and also the Miraflores locks. And finally, we'll proceed to the beautiful Bridge of the Americas, followed by the most beautiful Panamanian views. Be ready to be impressed and mesmerized all at the same time. Since we have a big day ahead, I suggest let's go down and get a beautiful breakfast with the view from the main dining. Pretty much everywhere you go on the ship, you will be able to see and follow the Panama Canal. So it's a wonderful experience that you can move from the main dining room to open deck, to back to your suite, to the spa, to the restaurants, without skipping a beat. Keep learning and experiencing. And here is a small animation that will help you visualize what is actually happening and how the ship is moving from a lock to a lock through the lake and transitioning from the Atlantic side to the Pacific. And here I managed to capture a video of our ship together with another vessel going on the opposite side in two different locks. And this is the Gatun locks, and you can see the locomotives pulling our ship and the neighboring ship onto opposite directions and following the water levels changing. And now that the first set of locks are behind us, I'm running to the panoramic view on deck 11 to see what is actually ahead of us. through the locks can be very dynamic and exciting moment, but as soon as you pass through the locks, it becomes very romantic, very quiet, very tranquil. So I thought that was the perfect moment to go back to the suite and enjoy a glass of champagne. And now let me take you back in time to year 1850. And you're trying to go from New York to San Francisco. Well, at the time, you had three options. The first option was to go across the country by mule. However, that would have taken you 4 months. Another option was to sail around South America, but that would have taken you even longer, 6 months. And there was the third option, the shortest option, and that was to take a boat to Panama, trek through the jungle by taking a Panama Canal rail, and take a boat on another side, from Panama to the Pacific. But that would have taken you 2 months. So the billion-dollar question became how to get from the Atlantic to the Pacific fast. But let's take a break, go for lunch, and then we go into the master of the execution of building the Panama Canal. For lunch, I'm taking you with me to the sushi restaurant on board, which is absolutely my favorite and quite yummy and delicious. Now that my delicious lunch with the view is coming to an end, there is one more stop, and that is going to the spa and having my hair done. But don't worry, nothing will be missed. As we're moving along the Panama Canal, I have a panoramic view right next to me, so we will follow all the progress. Since not much is happening at the moment out there, I will give you a little history lesson. And going back to our original question, who built the Panama Canal? Now we'll answer the question, who started building the Panama Canal? And the answer is the French. And in particular, one big French name comes to mind, and that is Ferdinand de Lesseps. He was a hero at the time as he managed to complete the Suez Canal. He made Africa an island, and he made India 6,000 kilometers closer. He basically became a royal. 30,000 people came to congratulate him upon the completion of the Suez Canal. So when he announced that his next big project will be the Panama Canal, everybody was there to support him. So far, so good. My hair is almost done, and so are the Pedro Miguel locks. So it looks like by the time I finish my story about the French starting the Panama Canal, I'll be able to reposition myself. So going back to the challenges that the French met as they started building the canal. From the start, it was obvious that it was going to be a challenging project. Panama had mountains, rivers, jungles, volcanic rock, continental divide. Also, there were diseases as malaria, yellow fever. There were jaguars everywhere and snakes. But also, there was a political reason that was also making the project challenging. Technically, the region was still a region of Colombia. So in order to move forward with the project, they had to agree to give Colombia 5% of all future revenues. And eventually, the project, with the help of Caribbean and Indian workers, has successfully begun. So I'm excited to finish my hairdo and reposition myself on the open deck as I'm extending my thank you to the spa team for the work well done. It has to be here. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. Well, hello from the open deck. Here I am, already repositioned and ready to capture a moment in the last locks, Miraflores locks, and we can see another vessel next to us transitioning in the same moment at the opposite direction. Overall, I have noticed that people are extremely friendly while passing each other on the opposite side of the ships. Let's see if we can get some waves from these folks. And yes, we did. And what looks like a very smooth operation today, almost effortless, was actually very difficult to achieve. Going back to the Frenchmen, in 1889, the French company went bankrupt and the work stopped. Up until that point, 23,000 lives were lost and 800,000 investors have lost their money, equivalent to $7 billion today. This is a good moment to see how the ship is going inside this particular lock. It's moving along very slowly and it's going to the end of it. And now, as we are already moving, we can see what's happening on the other side of the lock. And you can see the water is just bursting out of the locks, and that means that the other ship will lower down, and then the locks will open, and the ship will go through to the side on the lower level. At this point, we have officially gone under the Atlantic Bridge. We have passed all the locks, and now there's another spectacular moment approaching, and that is going under the Bridge of the Americas. So for that grand moment, I have chosen to go back to observation to have the spectacular panoramic view, but also they have an afternoon tea event where I can enjoy this view even while I'm sipping on my English cup of tea. And as I'm preparing for this grand moment of passing under the Americas Bridge, I'm actually really taken by the view of Panama City, something that I was not prepared, and I'm absolutely mesmerized by. So let's see how much closer and how much of it we can capture. Symbolically, as we're approaching the Bridge of Americas, I would like to talk about the significance of United States of America involvement with the project. A decade later, after the work on the Panama Canal stopped, Theodore Roosevelt was elected the next president of the United States of America, and he put on his agenda U.S. Navy to gain a quick access to the Pacific Ocean. U.S. wanted a full sovereignty over the canal zone. Colombia was not willing to give that one up. So only after Panama was able to earn its independence, it gave the United States of America full control over the canal. The construction resumed. And that is taking you back to 1904. Taking a moment from the bright sunny day in a piece of luxury, cup of tea, afternoon tea event, as we're continuing to observe the panoramic views of Panama City. Cup of elegance while enjoying history and technological mastery. And now continuing my story about the United States of America involvement with the project. United States started a very active engineering progress on the project. They created the locks, the Gatun Lake, and so forth. Roosevelt himself visited the site in 1906. He became the first president to leave the country while in office, something that is totally natural nowadays. But before we continue with our story about building the Panama Canal, let's take a moment and enjoy this breathtaking view of Panama City. As we continue to enjoy our views, we continue to extend our gratitude and appreciation of the tremendous amount of work that was done on the canal. Work that is making our crossing today possible. At the time, about 200,000 people migrated from the Caribbean looking for work. The work became a lot more sophisticated as the government was providing healthcare, accommodation, and food. However, even though the condition improved tremendously, it was still a very dangerous and difficult job. However, the work finally came to an end, and after 33 years, 27,000 lives lost, a new country on the horizon, the first ship that passed through Panama Canal did so on August 3rd, 1914. And ever since, one ship after another been crossing the canal. Nowadays, 5% of all world trade passes through the canal. Panama Canal became tremendous political and financial power. And after the United States pressured the UK and France to give up their claim to the Suez, it became time that US do the same. So in 1977, Jimmy Carter did just that. After numerous political riots and pressure, he gave Panama Canal future ownership with one condition: the Panama Canal to remain neutral waterway. And on the last day of the 20th century, the Panama Canal officially became the property of Panama. So overall, if you ask simply, who built Panama Canal? The answer will be the world did. US did the railroad in the 1850 with Irish and Chinese workers. France started the project, excavating 50 million cubic meters of rocks with Indian and Jamaican help. United States later on finished the project with Caribbean and Central America workers. Yet most of the work you see today was done by Panamanians. And if you heard about Sunblast Islands, you know that the Kuna people also had involvement with the project. And now I encourage you to enjoy the beautiful views of the Pacific. Views that will be followed by a short interview with Captain Emilian himself. So we have just gone through Panama Canal and Captain Emilian has agreed to answer a few questions. Can you please tell us what is the role of the pilot versus the role of the captain?
Well, in general, in every port, the pilots are coming to give us an advice. So we are conning the ship, we are maneuvering the ship, we are docking the ship or leaving the harbor with pilot advices. So you can say that the pilot knows the port and we know the ship. When in Panama Canal there is a significant difference because the pilot in fact takes the con, and especially once the ship is connected to the moors, to the locomotives with all these steel wires. In fact, the pilot controlling the moors, the pilot is controlling the ship. So this is the only place on the planet when it's happening this way.
Okay. And then the next question is, how long actually takes to go through Panama Canal?
Well, It's hard to say. Our transit this time was relatively short. We picked up the pilot on Atlantic side at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we dropped the pilot on the Pacific side at 5 o'clock p.m. So you can count 11 hours, which is relatively short. It can be everything between 12 up to 14 and even 16 hours. I remember transits like that. That all depends on the traffic inside the canal and inside the locks.
Talking about the inside the locks, so how high are we actually elevating ourselves on the way up, and how much are we lowering to go from the Atlantic to the Pacific?
So the Gatun Lake is 26 meters above the ocean level. So we are elevating the ship 26 meters up, then we cross the Gatun Lake and continue with the canal, and then we have to lower the ship back to the ocean level. There might be a slight difference due to the tides on both sides of the canal, of course.
Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And at this very moment, I invite you to pour yourself a glass of champagne and join me to admire this beautiful Panamanian sunset. Cheers! See you in my next video. Thanks for watching to the end. Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting stories around the planet.